Well, finally a full season after the compressed season a year ago, which means for the Warriors 52 games against the Western Conference. Now everybody worries about the playoffs, but let's look at the West here real closely. And Jim, start in L.A., Lakers, Clippers. When I look at elite teams, those two Southland teams are both in the mix.
Well, with Dwight Howard alongside Kobe Bryant, we know where they're going to be. They're one of the elite teams in the NBA, and you would expect to see them in the finals.
If you look at the Midwest, San Antonio, can they keep doing it? Eventually these guys have to slow down, right?
I'm surprised about San Antonio because they had a terrific season. Remember, they won 20 games straight into the playoffs, but then they were blown out by Oklahoma City Thunder and lost 4 straight. I also want to go back to the Clippers. They made a lot of changes. They are an elite team, but they're a team, one of two people, Chris Paul or Blake Griffin. Either one of them get hurt for any length of time, then they're going to go back down.
If you look at Memphis, the idea was that someone was going to leave Memphis, except they paid Rudy Gay and Zach Randolph. Marc Gasol became an all-star. Mike Conley's become a good point guard. Lionel Hollins has a really good team.
He's got a really good team, and they're still young at key positions. Very, very important that they re-signed all of those players, and particularly that center. They're a very dangerous team in the playoffs. In the last 2 years, they've been brilliant, just not getting quite over the hump.
Denver gets Andre Iguodala, but they've got Ty Lawson, they've got Aaron Aflalo, Timothy Mozgov, I saw him in the Olympics, Kenneth Faried, remember him at the end of last year?
Yes.
He's amazing at power forward, and George Karl coaching. Denver's going to be good.
They're always going to be good with George Karl because he knows how to win games. He just knows how to put them out there and do that. And plus, they have a huge advantage in Denver. They just seem to play well there. They're still a young team, and they also play some defense. They can run up and down the floor, but when they have to, they can play defense.
And I saved the best for last. If you look at elite in the Western Conference, Oklahoma City made the finals maybe even a year early than expected, but Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka, Cephalosha as the guy who can guard. A team that is young, gritty, and really, I think, on the cusp of a long run of success.
You think of the youth and you think of what they've already accomplished. We know who they are talent-wise. Terrific shooting from Durant.
James Harden as a closer.
James Harden is their go-to guy coming down the stretch of every game. And Russell Westbrook, yeah, he can shoot you in, he can shoot you out at times. But he is relentless in his pursuit to the rim. This is a team that's fun to watch, and they had great success last year, and they made a pretty good showing when they went up against Miami in the NBA Finals.
So you look at it, that's the elite six-pack, if there is, in the Western Conference. So where does that leave the Warriors? In a dynamic battle for probably 2 playoff spots. I think the Warriors, you look at Dallas. Let's start with the Mavericks. Chris Kaman with Nowitzki and O.J. Mayo and Elton Brand. It's a very different Maverick team.
It really is. They let Jason Terry go, but they bring in Kaman, Elton Brand. I keep thinking of the Clippers 6 or 7 years ago.
Jason Kidd's gone.
Jason Kidd. To me, I think Dallas is going to fall back down. I just don't believe they're quick enough. I don't think they have enough speed and quickness to play this game night in and night out. I even saw that with Nowitzki last year a little bit, and they're going to be more of a plodding team. When you play against the Dallas Mavericks, you want to run them up and down the floor and try to beat them that way, the old school.
If you look at Utah, they made the playoffs last year. Enes Kanter, Derek Favors, you look at Paul Millsap. They have so much size, they have youth, and they already, I think, making the playoffs was a nice little thing for them. Tyrone Corbin did a good job with the Jazz.
Did a good job, and of course that out of that system was still, you can still see the effects of Jerry Sloan and his stamp on that club.
Hayward improved a lot as a player?
Yes, he has in his second year. But they're a team that is always going to rebound the ball well. You've got to get them off the offensive glass. They're a physical team. And look for them to be in the mix again. But how far can they go when they get into the playoffs? I'm not sure they have the firepower to overcome anybody.
One of the kind of secrets on NBA League Pass was watching Minnesota last year. Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love, they add Andre Kirilenko. This is a Minnesota team that might have made the playoffs. Rick Adelman is totally underrated. The T-Wolves will be in the mix again.
This is a very dangerous team. To me, this could be the surprise team in the West, and they could move up into that Elite Six. Now, if Rubio comes back, right now I don't think he'll be starting and be ready until maybe December or January, which kind of surprises me. But if he comes back and they're still in the hunt for everything, and they've got Kevin Love and Brandon Roy. Now, if Brandon Roy couldn't play up in Portland with those knees, how'd the knees all of a sudden get better? My knees aren't getting better. It amazes me. I just don't think how he can possibly do that. But if he can overcome that, they've got something there, a real gift for them. They could be a very big, surprising team that could upset a lot of teams and go into the top 5 even in the West.
Yeah, so you look at the Elite Six in the West, and then Dallas, Minnesota, the Warriors, Utah. those games on the schedule are going to count double count, really, particularly if you're fighting for 2 playoff spots. The bottom line is 52 games against the West. You're not going to luck into many wins, and you're going to have a battle pretty much every night.
You've got to be ready to play, and that's why I believe it is important for Andrew Bogut to get into playing shape and to be healthy, make sure fairly early in the season, because he's the real key. So you don't want to get behind the 8 ball and be struggling and trying to fight your way up again. It'd be nice to be off to a really good start. But I'm confident with the Warriors this year and the assets they have with all the shooting and all the scoring. You stay healthy with everybody else, they're going to be in the midst.
Well, you look at other teams and they're doing these type of previews. Guess what? The Warriors are in the mix in the Western Conference discussion. We will be talking about it all throughout training camp right here on Warriors TV.